all those people that you're getting autographs from out there, really did inspire the ones that wanted to break into comic book. Frank was already there, right? And Frank had done some other stuff, and we knew about some of your stuff that you had done, right? But when Daredevil came along, right, it was this lightning bolt. Like, I mean, I don't think you guys, unless you were back there, how many old people we got that were back there at the same time, right? You guys know, there was a lightning bolt that came down, and we went, what are we looking at, right? Like, to some extent, we didn't know comic books could be like this. And for all of us that wanted to break into comics, we went, yeah, for sure now, we want to get there. And here's the thing, I don't know if you guys understand, Daredevil at that point was bi-monthly, right? Because there were a lot of books at Marvel and DC that were bi-monthly. And the only way you would get it to go monthly, which he did, was the sales had to like rocket up, right? They put it to bi-monthly because sales were going down. And then within, I don't know how many issues after you came on, it went to monthly, and now we were able to get a feed of it. And we were just, at that point, we were starstruck. We sat back, not only did we get Daredevil, but then we got Ronin, we got Dark Knight, we got everything else that came along, and we all got to enjoy the ride. So you jump on a book that, I would argue, a lot of us were not really paying attention. Daredevil was like a C, maybe even a D character, because he was bi-monthly. And all of a sudden,
bi-monthly means, you know, we're going to keep printing this thing, but we want to keep the trademark alive, but it's starting to smell the drink. But on the other hand, bi-monthly was, you know, I was lucky I was right. I thought, you know, run silent, run deep. They come in on the book that nobody's looking at, and if you do anything right, you're going to look like it. You know, you're going to look great.
So I said that before.
And they'll leave you alone, you can get away with stuff.
Yeah, so when you come on a book like that, they're just going, do whatever you want to do. You have way more freedom than when you have a book that's actually selling, because they want to keep the status quo, right? There wasn't no status quo at that point of Daredevil, because he was floundering to the point that the sales weren't there. And if you don't believe it, if you guys actually buy those old comic books, remember once a year or twice a year, they used to have to print the sales in the book, right? In the letter page. So you could actually see how much each one of those books was selling. So when you compare Daredevil sales when they were bi-monthly to, let's say, Spider-Man at that point, you could see this significant sort of drop from top to bottom. So Frank coming on board, again, is probably one of the reasons why they also let you write it too. They're just going, whatever, you want to draw? Did you muscle your artwork to get the writing, or did they just go, yeah, you want to write and draw, fine, go ahead?
I used every ounce of power I could get.
As a 19-year-old.
Now, at this point, I was my early 20s.
That's it. He still didn't have hair on his ass, though. So. He's a sweet man. He's a kind man. But I got to tell you guys, when he meets me, he can be a badass, right? So you guys have heard like the stories of Image and all that other stuff. I have to tell you that Image kind of came out of people like Frank. Because in my conversations with Frank, and we had plenty of them.
Oh yeah.
We were scheming on how to alter this system that was in a status quo, right? And given that he was the older guy, I sort of looked up at him as sort of the big brother, and he was never short of wanting to forget shaking up comic books. He wanted to shake up in character, he wanted to shake up the industry. We established Image Comics at this point, right? And then I come up with this idea. Spawn at this point selling more comic books than anybody else, right? Even the Marvel stuff. And I convinced them to do Batman and Spawn team up. And in my mind, I'm going, there's only one thing that had just rattled this entire industry. What if I can get Frank Miller to come back and do Batman again. He hasn't done Batman for a long time, right? And so he sort of kind of retired from Batman. And I go, man, we gotta do it. And so I know that like Frank probably was sitting on there, but then the thing that got the hook in Frank was I told him about the deal I made, right? And it was, once I told him about the deal, Frank went, I'm in, right? I'm in. Here's what the deal was, ladies and gentlemen. I said to them, hey, let's go and do a crossover book. Usually what you do one crossover book, you do the book, you split the profits 50-50, right? I said, no, hey, why don't we try this? Why don't I do a crossover book? I'll keep all the money. You do your crossover book, you keep all your money, and we'll just call it a day at that. They said yes, right? Which essentially, at some point, I knew when they said that first yes, I go, tell the guy, remember I phoned Frank, I go, Frank, I made a deal, somebody's gonna get fired, right? Because essentially somebody at corporate goes, so he gets to play with Batman and he doesn't owe us a penny on that project, right? And here's the sweet part where they didn't pay attention and they should read their own damn contracts sometimes, right? Is, I go, Frank, there's only one downside though. We only can do one printing. So we made it, you can only do one printing, and we can only do one printing, and then that's it, and we're done with it, right? But there is no number. And so I go, Frank, not only do we get to do our own book, and we don't have to give them a fucking penny, right? I go, they're gonna print 40, 50,000, I'm gonna print 1 million. Remember? Yes! And so they would come to us over the years, for decades, and they're going, our contract said you can only do one printing. And I go, look at the inside, that's the first printing. I just got a warehouse full of them. And Frank and I are going to be prospering off this for 30 years.
Welcome to Megacon, folks.
Thanks. Hello, Ridges.
It's an extra chair.
I feel like you should be in the middle.
Do you want to sit? Do you want to sit in the extra chair? Or?
I might take both.
Great.
I might take both. I'm just like,
Just keep this stretch out. Whatever you need to do.
There's a lot of y'all here. Jesus, age range. For Chuck's sake. I feel so honored and flattered. It feels like a different world to kind of be like, wait a second, we're now roughly 5 years from the end of the show, and to come here and to see people for the last 3 days, 3.5 now, who have met dear friends and shared this journey with their family members and friends, and to still see y'all coming out. And I know a lot of y'all are here for Pokemon. I am too. No judgment. But it's really, really special. So on a human level, thank you all for caring about us.
Very grateful that I got to, I got to work with these people and I got to grow old with this show, which was easy because that's how I started. And there's quite a number of people who were on this show that I actually still like. And it's a limited number, but it's,
Two of them are on the stage right now.
at least.
Jim and you.
But I still like all you guys, so.
Collected along the way in my life. For an audition where I died in the first 90 seconds.
Our audition was this.
Nobody did it better. Except Adrian, equal. The fact that I'm still sitting here and you're still sitting here is beyond, it's hard to wrap my head around. I'm just grateful. Thank you.
Your turn. How's your life changed.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No, she's fucking around.
Well, I did when I joined the show.
All of us just died for faith.
Married, extra kid. I mean, I wish I'd died in the first 90 seconds, to be absolutely honest. I came for one
You all
episode.
wish you
I
could.
know! I came for one episode! If I don't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, he was
Journey.
I don't know.
Should we move on to Jared? Next question.
The truth of the matter is, in all my years, Jim will back this up, we've been lucky enough to do some extraordinary television and features and stuff in our life, but there has never been anything like this. It doesn't exist anywhere else. I've been lucky enough to be in a lot of shows that have huge followings, you know, Who and Star Trek and all sorts of other things that like that, Battlestar and stuff. But this is different. This has always been different. And what it is it's the connection between the people that love the show and the people that make the show. And from day one, I saw that the people that make the show cared as much about the show as the people who love the show. And that's what makes it so rare.
Yeah.